place that's far away from all you other lanes.
Y'all just saying.
We are not the same.
No, we not.
I'm on a different plane.
Altitude.
A place that's far away
Far away.
from all you other lanes.
But I always tell these women that I got pregnant that I do not want to be a father to these children. And I offer to pay for the abortion. Majority of times they'll either take the abortion or they'll take a plan B. But only these 7 have kept these children. But the crazy thing about it is they want me to be responsible for some children I told them I did not want. So for some years now, some of them been trying to get in contact with me.
For some years.
Access denied. Because I don't really know why you're trying to get in contact with me. I done told you I did not want them kids. So don't expect me to be responsible financially, emotional, spiritually, mentally, or physically with some kids I do not want. And I don't give a what nobody think about it.
Over it. He's over it.
Vito the Don.
AB the Swan. AB the Realist.
Vito the illest.
AB.
V.
Straight no chaser. Y'all.
That was good.
That was good.
But we got to introduce the show. We got to tell people what we're doing.
Yeah. Mike said we got to tell y'all who we are. So.
Yeah, because we didn't tell y'all that. We copped on here like we already had 1 million subscribers.
Low key. We are ABV.
Yes.
I'm AB. That's
I'm
V,
yeah.
right? We are, hip hop and neo soul personified.
Yeah.
We talk about all things life, mental health, Christianity, all the things right in between. My hair look crazy. with these headphones.
It doesn't. It looks good. It
Sorry,
looks
y'all getting real raw content. Yeah. But we are for the culture. All that means, and man, it's a good thing.
Yeah, we're for the culture, and we also wanted to be able to bring some content to your living room that we know that young professionals within church spaces are talking about and dealing with. So if you know me, I mean, if you're watching this and you personally know me, you know what I do every Sunday.
Yep.
What I do every Sunday is just an extension of who I am on a daily basis. I'm not perfect by any means, but nonetheless, man, I love the people, and I want to do whatever I can to make sure that the people are free. So
for sure. In
every space that I can stand in to make sure that people are free, that's what I'm going to do. So our show, ABV, granted, those are our initials, right? So, you got Amber, her last name, and then my first name. But when you put those together, you also, for all the folk out there,
me acting like you overly holy.
Right. For all the folk out there that drink a little bit,
y'all know.
You know that all the drinks, they have this thing called alcohol by volume, right? So we put that together, and we came up with this creative topic. That's what we said, straight no chaser. We're talking about straight up topics.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight up topics. So
Vito tried to make me look bad, so I'm going to make sure that I say, in all seriousness though, I'm all things mental health. Mental health advocate. I just think it's very important for us to get this. It's not a trend. It is literally the battery that allows us to operate in any space, whoever you are, whatever you do. So I am an advocate for all things mental health, healthy spaces, just practicality for people, but especially Gen Zers and those of us that are around the same age group, just intentionally walking healthy lives. So I think we balance each other very well.
Yeah.
And I think we have a lot to offer.
Well, I know, I might look like I'm Gen Z, but you boys are millennials. You feel me? So you're right. I don't. I got wrinkles.
No.
I got crow feet.
You're young.
Yeah, I'm very young.
You're young.
Very young.
You're not even
life
40.
To live, man. I'm not even.
Yeah.
That's kind of that felt shady.
No.
You're not even 40.
That's literally young.
Yeah, no, I know I'm young. I'm young and I'm hungry.
Also that.
In a number of ways, man. But I literally, like I said, whatever platform I'm on, I want to free people. I want to show people that there's another way.
Yep.
And man, happy Women's History Month.
Thank you. Happy
Women's History Month, man. I'm excited about that, which is why, I rock the TLC shirt today. Is that the Scooby Doo joint?
I don't know what this is. It's came from Five and Below.
That's the
whatever.
MTV. The Daria. Yeah. Yeah.
Mike knows, y'all. Mike knows.
That's a little bit before your time.
Whatever.
A little bit.
Whatever.
Back when we used to watch MTV late at night. You know, she was just like this.
Beyond me.
Unemotional. Girl. It was funny though. You might want to get on YouTube and check it. Shout out to Daria, man.
Shout out to Daria.
Shout out. What, did they ever disclose what race she was on the show? Yeah, I don't know. But she was dope. But anyway. All right, let's hop into this, man. I think we did a good job of introducing it.
Yeah.
So when we look at this video,
What are we talking about?
what are we talking about?
What are we talking about? What did we name this?
Oh, terms and conditions.
Terms and conditions.
Yeah, terms and conditions.
That's genius.
Terms and conditions.
Yeah.
So, if you've ever downloaded an app, you ever bought anything, there's terms and conditions. Half of y'all probably don't read it, and they probably said that we're going to take your house
Just
when you
be
turn
lying.
96.
Do we check that check
He's
box?
like, check box, because I want this app or I want this or whatever product it is. There's terms and conditions with everything, with a loan, whatever you get.
Mercy.
But today we want to talk about the terms and conditions that come along with sex.
Man.
Yeah. There's terms and conditions.
I'm ready.
There's a lot of terms
I'm ready.
and conditions that come along with sex. And one of those terms is babies.
Yeah.
We'll start there, man, because everybody loves babies.
Yeah.
But the crazy part about children is that when we neglect them, they grow up traumatized.
Yes, they do.
And the crazy part about this is that when this guy talks about the fact, he says that I don't want them, I don't believe that every one of the mothers of his children are not going to shield their child from that video. I would hope that they do, but somebody's probably going to show it. Say, hey, this is your daddy.
So if y'all don't know what we're talking about, there's this viral video all over the place, child, of this man defending himself from taking care of his children. In the video, he expresses that he is clear with these women up front that he has no interest to be a father. He also offers to pay for abortions should they get pregnant.
Or Plan B pills.
Or Plan Bs. These women have decided not to, 7 of them have decided not to abort their children. Pro-choice, right? That's just my political view. I don't really have the energy to unpack that right now. But in this case, he is saying, you did this knowing how I felt already. Stop calling me, trying to get me to be a daddy. You can't guilt me into it. You knew these terms and conditions beforehand, and we still laid down. I got mine, you got yours. Now there's a baby. It ain't got nothing to do with me. That's what he's saying in essence. Craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I think he values his sexual appetite more than the person. I think that's what, because like, you know, I think we're in a place as people where it's no longer about the person. It's about, you know, what they have to offer, the moment, right? Like, and that's dangerous.
It's so many ways that this can be unpacked. Because while I'm always gonna be devil's advocate, y'all. I'm just objective, period. But I'm wondering, and we'll probably never have the information, but I'm just wondering, first of all, the way he talks and his disposition,
He's hurt.
sex, and y'all, listen, I ain't judging nobody. I promise I'm not. And I done been there, right? I done been there. But there's so much more than physicality that's gonna get me to lay with you.
Yeah, that's you though.
If you talking like this and this is your disposition, this is how you carry yourself, you're not attractive to me enough for you. Throw some what?
But he might not be talking. I mean, and we're speculating, right?
Obviously.
But he might not be talking like that
In the club, yeah.
Or yeah. But anyway, he might not be talking like that, you know, during the chase. It may be a situation where he's putting all the best cards on the table, man. He's you know, you never know what type of manipulative individual that this is. or how long he's willing to really like chase in order to get what he desires.
Is it manipulation though, if he's just being honest? Like, here's the black and white. The black and white is you can't be mad that he don't want kids.
Oh yeah,
everybody
no.
don't want kids, even women. Not every
for
woman
sure.
wants a child.
I agree
you
with
know what
that.
I'm saying? So the black and white, there's nothing wrong with the fact that you don't want children. The issue is you're doing what makes children. Not like you have to go into it with a 50% off gate. Like I got a friend, had sex one time. She got twin boys.
Oh man, that's
okay.
Yeah.
So you have to go into it knowing like this could happen.
I would cry.
If this if this is something that happens though, and then he degrades the quality of women, like these are just jump offs. These are not people that I care about. You are laying with someone.
Right.
That is the whole, like, that's how you produce children. I'm not understanding how you get to govern, beyond anything beyond. And then the women, why are we not having protected sex? And that's not to say you can't get pregnant with the condom. We understand, but I just have so many questions.
Well, I'm curious to know what conditioned him to have this type of ideology.
Yeah,
Like that's what I want to know. Like it's as a father, like that is something. And furthermore, like here's what bothers me the most out of this. It's not the fact that he didn't want these children. Mm-hmm. It's not the fact that he fathered 7 children. Mm-hmm. It's not the fact that that's 7 that we know about, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the fact that he degraded women. It's not the fact that he degraded women to say that their value somehow should depict his inability to father or his ability to father, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that what prompted him to hop on social media to explain himself to a number of strangers. It
had to be I don't know what happened prior to.
But it's to me it's validation.
Yeah. What are you looking for?
Like what is the end all be all of this? Like why are you trying to validate yourself to a bunch of people that don't know you, don't care about you? Like, and then it goes to show, is this the viral moment that he was looking for? Mm-hmm. To give him a platform to degrade? Because at some point, like what I'm seeing on social media, truth be told, is some people just want that bag. Yeah. And they're willing to do whatever it takes to get that bag. So is this a bag moment?
Unfortunately, I feel like this is a very genuine moment for him. I feel that is how he really feels, and that is a representation of, and it sucks because there's some truth sprinkled in there, but unless it's all truth, it's still a lie. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you making a lot of valid points. You have a good case to an untrained eye, but it's loopy. And then at the very end, you're saying that you're unable to take accountability, but then saying you don't care. Yeah. So it's one or the other. At the end of the day, regardless of what terms or conditions or the things that you gave at the forefront, this is the result now. What do we do now? And now you are justifying being an absent father, and you're proud of it.
Like
that's weird.
Well, I don't know if he's proud of me. He said he didn't care. He said,
I wonder.
I know y'all gonna get mad. He said, but I really don't care.
I wonder if he has a relationship with his father.
I doubt it.
And what that relationship is like.
I doubt it.
It's okay for you not to want kids. For a long time, I didn't want kids, mainly because I recognized how much goes into being a parent. I am solely responsible for the esteem of someone.
Absolutely.
For the well-being of someone's mind, body, soul. That's a big responsibility. And until I get myself together, I don't feel like I need to be nobody's mama. Right?
Well, that's responsible of you.
I mean, but I've since then grown. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying.
Well, being a father of 3.
Yeah.
And understanding the nature of really the attack on black men.
Yeah.
That you are allowing children to be reared in a society that already devalues them.
Yeah.
And now for them to grow up traumatized, triggered,
Yeah.
hypervigilant,
Mercy.
hating you, right? And don't let one of these young boys or girls grow up and do something great, and then you want your red carpet moment at the NBA draft or the NFL draft or at the Oscars.
Weird.
Right? When you know what I'm saying? Like don't be that guy, because we see that happening all the time.
For sure.
Right? And it's interesting too, because pain oftentimes unchecked will push us to a place to hurt other people.
For sure.
And not even know it, right? You watch Snowfall? Mike, you watch Snowfall? I've seen the first couple episodes, but you didn't finish it? All right, well, I ain't going to spoil it for you. But there's an instance in the last episode where there's this young guy, and he's attempted to sexually assault this woman. And so he has this very distinct scar on his chest. And so as he's preparing himself to assault her, she looks him in the eyes and says, "How young were you when your mama used to
Mercy.
pimp you out?"
Mercy.
And he was like, then he started to get a little upset because she saw him in his pain and reminded him of his pain.
Wounded child.
And now she brought the wounded child out of this perceived to be pimping gangster, right? And that's what I wonder, the terms and conditions, because I'm going to tell you something. For every raw brother that's out there, man, it's a sister out there that's cold.
For sure.
And that will match that energy and will take your soul and have you laying in the bed listening
Lay
to
it right next to you.
Boys to Men and lighting incense and listening to Erykah Badu and all of these other things. Listen. There's a woman out there that will match that proverbial energy and just take you on a journey.
Yeah.
And my thing is like, how does a person like that deal with that issue? But the terms and conditions, though, right? Like the terms and conditions of sex. Like how realistic is it, right?
That's the question.
Like, how realistic is it not to take on the baggage of somebody? Like, is that something that you have to consider beforehand, or
every person, every interaction, especially if we're talking about sexual, everybody's gonna come with terms and conditions. The hard work and the honesty comes in when we look beyond the first thing that's attracting us. So typically physicality, but is this person worth these terms and conditions? Like, that's really the questions that we have to somewhere ask ourselves. And realistically, that's not going to happen when everybody is lit at the kickback, right? So I think it's a lot of introspective, if that's the word, work that has to be happening in the background all the time. And then too, some people don't care. Somehow, some people can have these experiences and not think anything else of them somehow, and be fine, be whole somehow, if you will. But I realistically, I don't know. I know for me, the times, listen, y'all, I've had some times. I've had some times.
I thought about a gospel song.
Not I've had my share of ups and downs. I've had some times. And I'm not too above none of this, to be honest about that. But the reason why I had those times was because I felt like I didn't have anything else.
Yeah.
I was looking to feel something, like feel. I was just numb, and I was dark. I was bitter. I felt like who I was had been totally flipped upside down, mischaracterized. And at this point, what the hell? But that was my why. Yeah. So at some point, like, I healed from that. By the grace of God, I healed from that. And it obviously checked me back into reality. Like, girl, this is not you. What are you doing?
Right.
I'm so grateful that this didn't go another way. But like you said, the unchecked hurt. Like, these people have just taken camp, I think, in some things that were never healed.
Well, I think that Thanksgiving comes into play when you can make it out of a place like that.
Yeah.
And live to talk about it.
Yep.
Right? Like, there are some individuals who do some crazy things with their anger.
Yeah.
Right, and that hasn't happened, and he's able to talk about it. You know, prayerfully, it'll be an opportunity for him to come to grips with, you know, his issues. You know, but it also pushes the point that you got to be willing to accept the baggage that could come with sleeping with somebody. And
that's for men and women, because I'm still stuck on. There's no and from a man's point of view, tell me, because you see me in the club. I'm really, y'all, I'm struggling trying to wrap my mind around, I don't know, maybe I'm being too judgy, but you don't want children. Like, already, first of all, I'm not throwing ass for nobody that I don't see a future with. That's a privilege. This is not community like this. Like, this is, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to wrap my mind around.
Really fast.
I'm really just trying to understand which, I mean, I guess people are just where they are, but from, I guess what I want to ask from a man's point of view, how do you, like, the rating of women? So it's because what is given is that sex is just gonna be sex, and sex is everywhere, but like the value and the appreciation for different types of, like, because he mentioned these are just jump offs. It was easy to get you. Why do I want a child by you?
He had no interest in the person. That's why I said he valued the ability of them to open themselves up physically, sexually, like
so
intercourse.
Obviously that was something he was lacking.
Well, he's trying to fill a void.
Yeah,
he's thinking that void can be filled through sex, and you know, when in all actuality, something that pleases the flesh can never fill a void.
Mercy.
Right. So this is why addictions are chased.
Right.
Because we chase addictions because the void is still not filled. It's still not filled. And so from a male perspective, we're not dealing with a man in this instance. We're dealing with a boy who just happens to be over the age of 18, and you know, has an adequate amount of blood flow to have sex with somebody. Right? We're not dealing. We're not dealing with a man here. We're not dealing with someone who is a protector of women. We're not dealing with this is who you need to hide your daughters from.
Mercy. Right?
Like this type of Negro right here, this shiftless, trifling Negro.
You can say nigga.
This is, but I think Negro has an impact. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has ancestral impact.
That's the word.
Right? Like if you think about, like, you know, if my grandmother, you know, she used the N-word. But if she said Negro, you better get out of my face. That's like, she's close. That's different. Like, she's close to just putting all sorts of pain in your place, man. So for this gentleman, this young brother, I really wish him healing, because he's hurt. Yeah, he's really hurt. But when it comes to this, though, I know one of the things that we teach in church, right, or not teach, I don't think we've really done a good job at teaching it. We do speak about it from a behavior modification place, right? And that's abstinence, right? And we usually tell, it's like worst case scenario. Yeah. Right? Don't have sex before marriage because you have a baby. Pregnant, right. Or it's a sin, or it's, you know, we talk about it from like those two angles. But I think we have to dig deeper in our churches. For sure. To help people understand that abstinence is not necessarily just to keep you from having a baby. Because what happens when I do something that was supposed to promote said outcome, when the outcome isn't promoted, what happens is I'm like, oh, well, I'm chilling. I'm cool. But what abstinence does is it prepares you for discipline when you're in a place where surrendering to your flesh can ruin your life.
That's good. And it was definitely, we don't want no babies, we don't want no STDs, and the soul ties. Yeah. Those are the top three. And it's just like, who's gonna teach, why it's important to like learn. Maybe we should just push discipline. If we push discipline and not no sex, I just wonder how different things would look in terms of making healthy decisions in every arena of life. Like, not just don't have sex, but obviously as you are becoming disciplined, and of course if you're spiritual and you have a relationship with God that you are serious about abiding by, and that's not to say we're perfect, right? But just being serious about submission and obedience and all the different ways that those look. I just wonder how different it would be. I wonder, and we're still human, right? We still have our mess ups. Do you feel that this is going to be a very interesting question for you to answer?
Okay.
But do you feel that
I'm gonna close my eyes.
do you feel that every sexual encounter outside of the marital parameters is a negative experience? That there's a negative takeaway? I know that's a packed question, but that there's a negative takeaway from the experience, or soul ties. I spoke about it a few years ago. I think maybe a year. No, it was.
Shout out to Sunflower Power.
Shout out to Sunflower Power, y'all. But just we always give it a negative connotation.
Yeah, I think we give it a negative connotation because there's certain things we've treated it with this like terminal impact, like God doesn't forgive, and sex is one of those things. Like, we've ostracized young women for getting pregnant before marriage, whereas we've almost out of sight, out of mind exalted young men and allowed them to still serve in positions of influence when we know that they are doing things that are contrary to the will and the way of God, right? I think that you can't answer this question with the either or. Looking back, moving forward, hindsight is 20/20. It's lessons, right?
Right.
I've seen young women that have gotten pregnant before marriage, and it catapulted them to say, "All right, life is no longer about messing around. Like, I gotta grind."
Yeah.
And they've really turned into these great women of God and leaders within the kingdom. And I speak to this personally because my 14-year-old son was the ring bearer at my wedding. He was 2.
Period.
So I understand what it's like to have a child before you say I do.
Yeah.
And I also, shout out to those who are able to do it the way that we read about in Scripture. But even when we think about the biblical concept of Jesus, right? Joseph was not the biological father. He had to deal with the societal impact of Mary being pregnant during their betrothal period. And I believe that's in the Bible for a reason.
Observation.
And I think that when it comes to us as people, are they all negative experiences? Well, the lessons that they can teach you would say no. Right?
Yeah.
But from a terms and condition place and the impact that it can have on your spirit, I would say yes. And the reason why I would say yes is a lot of times we don't know how acts that have emotional ties will affect us until we go through it. Right? And the crazy part about it is that there's emotional interactions that you have along the way that can make you end up like this brother.
For sure.
Or it can make you tighten up. Like, man, like I gotta get to know folk. I gotta do right by God. Because see, when we discipline, really what it does is it allows you to practice for game day.
Yeah.
So when you're in a position of temptation, or you're in a position where like, dang man, should I really do that? Nah. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you really gotta question yourself and you gotta say, yo, man, should I do this? Oftentimes, you probably should just not do it.
I don't know how I feel about that, twin. Now this is just me. I agree with you in theory.
Okay.
Where I'm struggling is sometimes we got to unlearn the things that we learn have a lot to do with how we process information
or how we were raised.
All these things. All those things are not right.
And I'm
or
not
healthy.
I'm not saying it's absolutes. I'm not saying it's absolutes, but I'm also saying that confusion.
Yeah.
Confusion's not.
Yeah, that's different.
Confusion's not a confusion is not a byproduct of the peace that God gives you.
For sure.
So when it comes to, so I'm not discrediting anything that you're saying by any means, but what I am saying is that some of the things that are happening as it pertains to the terms and conditions, right? We're looking at this terms and conditions proverbially, right? We're talking to this young lady, we talking to this young man, and we're saying, man, like, okay, but we're looking at the terms and conditions, and we want to ask questions, but living in a society that preempts us to be afraid of rejection, a lot of time we're not asking the right questions.
That's true. Do we know what questions to ask?
So I'm pretty sure, I really want to say this, I'm pretty sure that when it comes to the terms and conditions of this brother, this video, I'm pretty sure that there are a couple of women.
Yeah.
There are a couple of women in here that never asked him, how many kids do you have? How many women have you gotten pregnant? I don't think that those questions, because
Maybe
of
they don't
those,
care.
they might not. But apparently, there's a couple of them that's
Seven
giving
of
him
them.
the blues. And I'm be honest with you, man. I hope he have to pay every dime of child support that the court can allow him to pay, man. Because that's BS.
Yeah.
That is BS. And as a father of 3 beautiful sons, it is my duty not only to provide for them in a way that is going to allow them to be contributors to society, but also make sure that the faith that I have is transcendent.
Man.
The hard work that I have is transcendent.
Yeah.
And as a man, like, bro,
Your job is literally to fortify.
I feel like God is like giving him like chances, because he's
Literally. He's gotten
dude,
7.
the end of the road, like, you're not gonna like it.
Yikes.
Like, okay, here's chance 1 to like do right. Oh, you don't want that? Okay, here's chance 2. Okay, chance 3, chance 4, chance 5, chance 6, chance 7.
Chance 7, perhaps?
And then you get your shiftless self on TikTok in your car and make a video disparaging the women.
Looked like he was on break somewhere.
He was on break.
On his lunch break, making this video for TikTok.
How the young people say it, it's giving
It's
factory
giving
worker.
like I was gonna say Burger King. Maybe a manager in the back. No, I don't want to disgrade that black man like that. I will hope that he don't work at Burger King.
I'm choosing violence.
But baby, take care of them kids. Wherever you got a job that will support, and the taxes will look better if you claim. All right.
You might get a refund.
He'll get a good refund if he claimed him kid. No, but I do wish him healing, and I just want us to be careful, regardless of how much we try to exclude like spiritual matters. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They are like not separate. In everything you do, everywhere you are, whether you believe or if you don't.
Terms and conditions exist in
every space. Every
Jobs,
space. Everything you do
friendships.
affects the next thing. And I just want us to be healthy. He can be fine, girl. He can be fine. But if he ain't shit nigga, then I'm sorry. Ain't no other way to put that. Like, you just like love you enough.
Love you. Ooh.
Let's start. Everybody love yourself, because if you love you enough, then you not tolerating this. And if you love you enough, then you not gonna put nobody else through that. Everybody love. Let's hug.
Man,
yourself. Hug yourself.
You do this.
Hug yourself.
You do this every time.
Hug yourself.
Are you telling me to?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Mike, hug yourself. I need us to love ourselves.
Yes, ma'am. Yo, you do this every time.
What I do?
Well, I mean, like, I feel like our shows, we could talk all day. We talk a lot.
Yeah.
Right? We talk a lot. But, I mean, that's the answer. That's the answer. We came to the answer.
Yourself.
Love yourself. Love yourself.
Man. Because God loves you.
Oh.
Because God loves you.
Yo, you know what? Man, I've had a lot of shout moments, and I'm going to just end this here. I went and saw CeCe Winans.
Yeah. Without me, y'all.
I'm sorry.
Tragic.
But shout out to the homie. His father was able to curate some floor tickets for us. We right there.
Lord, he didn't have to say that.
I said that because I'm petty and I'm sorry. But she was amazing. She was really, really amazing. She said, "Listen, y'all." She sang some cuts. She sang some cuts off the joint, the 95 joint, and the 95 joint's different, huh?
I was 1.
No, she sang 2.
I'm saying I was 1 in 95.
You were 1 years old. Yeah, that's why you didn't need to go.
I like CC.
I didn't say you didn't, but you was only 1. I was 8 and watching baseboards to see some so it was a little different for me, you know. I'm just glad that my trauma is over because, like, when that song came on, I was looking for the sponge and the towel. But no, like this the CC I'm talking about right here. You know, when she was out here singing "Great Is Thy Faithfulness" and "Blessed Assurance" and all them cuts.
Got what you needed.
Yeah, I cried a little bit.
Good.
I cried a little bit, but at the end of the day, LYE, love yourself enough.
Love yourself enough.
Take it away.
Y'all, if you've hung in there, you can take it straight. So proud of you. So proud. Give us some feedback on this one. I want to know what y'all got to say about this. I know how the girls like to tussle. So, but I got time. But seriously, I'm concerned about us, and just as a generation, as women, as men, you know, I just want us to be well. Yeah. So, man,
and stop sharing all your business on social.
And stop. But you know what? That's about people. Listen, I have a theory that, well, it's not even anything that, I mean, I ain't no great philosopher, but it's been said before, like, even negative attention is better than none at all. And people are really out here crying for help by way of Facebook posts,
you know why?
And TikToks.
Because they don't love themselves enough.
They don't love them. They don't. But maybe they don't know how. Maybe they need practical instruction. What does being healthy look like? Why does this matter? Why should it matter?
You just came up with the next episode idea. I love it. Well, look, since you shut it down like that, I'm going to take your role real quick.
Period.
If you have been here this long,
period,
that means that you can take straight.
Period.
Straight No Chaser Podcast, brought to you by the good folks.
Yeah.
Here today. And man, we looking forward to giving y'all more content on a consistent basis. Y'all be easy.
Peace.